Alright, gents, so this is the last video for hedging derivatives, and these are in your assessment tasks. As I've reminded in the last video, but just as a reminder, these two are in your assessment tasks. The best resource for you to do here, if I go and I'll show you Qantas, click on the case study, and you click on the finance one, which is that one down the bottom. I haven't been able to find too many articles on Qantas hedging derivatives. Generally, they're pretty complex topics to talk about, and in the financial markets. Now, essentially, hedging, you might hear it a lot with people like hedging of their bets. The green here is what it is. Now, it is basically a hedging allows a business like Qantas to lock in. If I show you here, Qantas is A, and this is B, and this is their fuel. They want to lock in today's price of fuel at $1.10 a litre. I'm just making that up. Now, what it could mean is that they hedge and have what's called a strike price, and they pay a premium for that. So in other words, they're saying, I want the price locked in at $110 per litre at today's rate. If we fast forward to June 1st, up here, it might be that fuel has skyrocketed up to $3 a litre, right? Now, they've now got it on a contract that they are allowed to buy it at $110 a litre, all right, where they've got an insurance premium to allow them to do that. Now, inverse, if the price goes down and it goes on June 1st down to, let's say, 80 cents a litre, now they can choose to still exercise their strike price and pay overs for it, or they can actually go to party C over here and buy fuel from another provider and say, we're going to buy it at the 80 cents and not exercise our contract. All right. So it's kind of hedging your bets a little bit and having a fallback scenario. So hedging allows you to lock in a price for an object in the future at today's price. In a nutshell, that's what it is. All right. So as you can imagine, for Qantas, they'd use hedging a lot for supplies, a lot for fuel. A lot of businesses use hedging. All right. But again, it's not free. It's not cheap. You pay a large premium for you to be able to lock in a price. Essentially, you're paying for the risk of the change in price. We go to the last one. Now, this is somewhat similar, all right? What I'm going to ask you to do is define these three into your notes. All right? Now, it generally used to lessen, so in other words, now if, for example, it was you're buying hedging is for buying of a good, this is to lessen your exporting risk in regards to currency fluctuations. So in other words, you lock in rate at, you lock in the rate for a currency. All right, so this is like a currency swap or an option or a forward exchange. So in other words, it's the exact same principle of hedging, whereas hedging was a strike price for a product. For example, they do hedging on shares. A lot of CEOs do hedging on shares. This is derivatives as the syllabus. It's actually quite diverse product, but for how we learn about this as a syllabus is, it is known as a strike price for an exchange rate. So in other words, it's the exact same principle saying, I'm going to be changing every day Australian dollars to USD because Qantas need to buy products in US and buy fuel and fly their planes around. I want the US, in other words, if overnight the US dollar drops significantly or increases significantly, that's volatility that Qantas can't afford. So what they do is they use derivatives or currency swaps to guarantee a set price. It allows them to minimize their fluctuations and damages to their cost, but at the same time, almost take what is a variable cost and make it a fixed cost. All right. Now, it again, like I said with hedging, it still doesn't. For example, if the Australian dollar is adversely moving, they're still allowed to not exercise these contracts that they've entered into and trade on the side, and companies often do to try and make small gains. However, generally they're pretty loyal to their derivative markets and derivative contracts that they have. Now, for homework, and this is the last task you have for me, gentlemen, I'm going to expect, and hopefully I'll see this all in your OneNote, not hopefully, I will. I want you to write this point down into your notes, all right? And then complete that and the extension question. It's imperative to your understanding. I can guarantee you, gentlemen, you'll get a HSC question on hedging and derivatives, and you know for a fact that it's coming in your next assessment task. The last one is to compare the risks involved for domestic and global financial transactions. So in other words, exchange rates, what are they? Impact on Qantas. What are they? Impact on Qantas. What are they? Impact on Qantas. Draw up this table and complete it into your notes. This is what you should be using for, I guess, all of the methods of payment, because it will what you'll be needing in your assessment task. I don't expect more than 2 dot points. Like, this is a definition, what it is, definition, and this is how could it impact Qantas. In other words, an advantage, disadvantage. It'll help you immensely. Gentlemen, that's it. That's it for me. What we'll be doing next week, I'll be loading up a few videos on how to do business essays, because I think it's important for our upcoming assessment task. There'll be some videos we'll do: start of the week intro, middle of the week body, and end of the week conclusion. Anyway, gents, please stay well, stay safe, look after yourselves, look after your families, and that's it from me. Thanks, gents. Bye.